Good evening. We're going to call to order the school board meeting for November 15, 2022. Member Kraus, you have the invocation and pledge.
Thank you, and welcome everybody. It's good to see you all. In this season of being thankful, I thought it was appropriate to read a story. It's from Reader's Digest. A teacher told her students to draw what they were thankful for. When Mrs. Klein told her first graders to draw a picture of something for which they were thankful, she thought how little these children who lived in a deteriorating neighborhood actually had to be thankful for. She knew that most of the class would draw pictures of turkeys or of bountifully laden Thanksgiving tables. That was what they believed was expected of them. What took Mrs. Klein aback was Douglas's picture. Douglas was somewhat forlorn and likely to be found close in her shadow as they went outside for recess. Douglas's drawing was simply this: a hand, obviously, but whose hand? The class was captivated by his image. "I think it must be the hand of God that brings us food," said one student. "A farmer," said another, "because they grow the turkeys." "It looks more like a policeman, and they protect us." "I think," said Lavina, who was always so serious, "that is supposed to be all the hands that help us, but Douglas could only draw one of them." Mrs. Klein had almost forgotten Douglas in her pleasure at finding the class so responsive. When she had the others at work on another project, she bent over his desk and asked whose hand it was. Douglas mumbled, "It's yours, teacher." If you would please join me with the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Member Kraus. Let the record reflect that all school board members, superintendent, board clerk, and board attorney are present. We have an acknowledgement of Seminole County Council of PTAs, Katie Murphy. Thank you for joining us today. Superintendent, do you have any agenda modifications?
Yes, the addendum for good cause is marked on our electronic agenda by green flag named addendum item.
Okay, school board members, any agenda modifications? And tonight's roll call is Dr. Calderon, Ms. Sanchez, Ms. Kraus, Ms. Almond, and then myself. So Dr. Calderon?
No, Madam Chair.
Member Sanchez?
No modifications, thank you.
Member Kraus?
No, Madam Chair.
Member Almond?
No, Madam Chair.
And I have none as well. So do I have an approval for the agenda outline?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We have presentations, so we will join on the floor.
We'll start with Veteran of the Month with Mr. Gaffney.
Good evening, everybody. I am Mr. Gaffney, the principal at Winter Springs High School, and it is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Clayton Corey, Veteran of the Month for Seminole County Public Schools. Specialist Clayton Corey joined the United States Army in February of 2003 after the terrorist attacks of 9/11. Upon completing basic training at Fort Jackson, South Carolina, that same year he continued on to Fort Meade, Maryland, to complete in his advanced individual training at the Defense Information School as a combat documentation and production specialist. Upon completion of AIT, he immediately was sent to Fort Benning, Georgia, where he attended and completed airborne school to become a U.S. Army paratrooper. His first duty assignment was to Fort Campbell, Kentucky, with the 5th Special Forces Group. Within weeks, he was deployed to Iraq for a brief deployment before returning home in December of 2004. During that time, he completed both Combat Life Saving Course and the Eagle First Responder Course with the 101st Airborne Division. In July 2005, he went on his second deployment to Iraq with the 5th Special Forces Group. During that deployment, he went over 50 missions in countries and took over 25,000 photographs and over 100 hours of video. He logged more missions and had more airtime in helicopters than any other member of the battalion, which earned him the nickname Combat from his peers. When not on missions in Iraq, he volunteered his services to the 3rd Army Cavalry Regiment. The 3rd ACR awarded him the Combat Spurs for his services and was the only member of the 5th Group to receive that honor during deployment. His second duty station was to the 55th Combat Camera in Fort Meade, Maryland in late 2006. After missions in South America and other various places, he became a father and ended his military career to be with his family in December of 2008. He started in Seminole County Public Schools as a substitute teacher before being hired at Lake Mary High School as a paraprofessional for 1.5 years. Winter Springs then hired him to join them as a school safety guard, where he still fulfills his role today. Thank you, Mr. Clayton Corey, Seminole County Veteran of the Month.
Good evening. This year, all Seminole County 5th grade students, their music teachers, and classroom teachers attended the Young People's Concert presented by the Orlando Philharmonic Orchestra at the Dr. Phillips Center. Each performance began with 2 student representatives from each school singing the national anthem with the OPO on stage, and each performance concluded with all students singing with the orchestra, "How Far I'll Go" from the Disney movie Moana. It was a magical experience for students and adults alike. To make this happen, our friends at the Orlando Philharmonic raised more than $20,000 to ensure that all Seminole County 5th graders were afforded this amazing experience. The Orlando Philharmonic would like to recognize the partnership of our school board, Superintendent Beeman, and SCPS leadership for their continued support of visual and performing arts education. I would also like to thank Dr. Lindsay Williams for coordinating this experience, and Stan McKenzie and the entire transportation team for ensuring so many students made it safely and on time to the event. Tonight, we are joined by members of the Orlando Philharmonic Orchestra organization, Amy Conrad, Director of Education and Community, Jennifer Coolidge, Director of Philanthropy, and Paul Helfrich, OPO Executive Director, who would like to share a few words.
Well, good evening, everyone. I am Paul Helfrich, Executive Director of the Orlando Philharmonic, and I do want to thank you for your partnership and investment in the Young People's Concerts and this year's program, Game Overture. This is our longest program. We've been doing it for over 30 years. We've served over 2 million students in a 4-county area. And we were so thrilled that this year 4,700 students from Seminole County were able to attend. It's the first time that every 5th grader in the county came to the concert. It's a more than tenfold increase from last year, and we're so grateful to your multiple teachers and educators who championed this initiative and made it possible for this field trip to happen. The students are prepared with a guidebook that's crafted by an experienced group of educators, and now that Seminole County is sending entire grade levels, we are going to invite some of your teachers to help create the guidebook and shape the program for next year. We aim to have the program on stage be reflective of the diversity of the student audience, and it's true of the performers, but not just on stage. 60% of the music that we performed in this year's concert was composed by performers of color or by female composers. And while the final totals are not complete, Keep in mind, we do this in Volusia, we do it for Seminole, Osceola, Orange County, huge group. It's about a $400,000 program altogether. Obviously, many, many people help us make that happen. So I want to thank Lindsay Williams, the Performing Arts Curriculum Specialist, for his leadership in working with Amy, our Director of Education, in coordinating this program and designing and developing it. We believe in this. We believe that having music in kids' lives is important. We can build on this to add more grade levels in the future, and we look forward to growing it as we go forward. And of course, we have some tokens of appreciation for you, including the framed item. Jennifer, I know you've got it over there. But again, thank you for your support and your belief in the music, and we want to work with you going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lindsay.
Board members, I will ask you to take a seat right here in the front row. As many of you may know, tonight is the last school board meeting for two of our board members, Karen Ullman and Dr. Tina Calderon. And so we want to take just a little time to celebrate the impact that these ladies have had on all of the students in Seminole County for decades. Thank you for your 12 years of service on the board and your many, many, many years of advocacy for students in Seminole County. So we're going to take just a little time to celebrate and recognize our two wonderful board members. And if anyone knows these two ladies, they know that that celebration has to start with our wonderful Seminole County Public Schools students. So I'll turn it over to you, Dr. Williams.
Thank you, students. That was lovely. Thank you for those alma maters. We want to take a moment now to show a short video. Don't get me started. We put a little compilation together of the photos that we could find throughout the years. Some funny, some very heartwarming. We put it to the music of the Crooms Steel Drum Band because if it were me, I'd be picking something really sappy and we'd all be crying. So it's very happy, upbeat. So this is for the two of you.
we have a couple of gifts to give you. We did a call out for the district and have a lovely basket to give you ladies as a thank you for your support and dedication to SCPS. If you would please stand, that we can give you your flowers as gratitude of thanks. We can't put in a basket what you have given to this district, but know that your legacy will carry on and on and on. And part of your legacy from your fellow school board members and superintendent is we have purchased a reading bench to be donated in your name. And we just wanted to give Member Kraus and Member Sanchez a moment to say some words to you as well. So, Member Kraus, if you would like to start.
Thank you very much. Pardon me. I recognize that today is an emotional day for both of you. I'll try not to be too sappy, but I want you both to know how grateful I am for your devotion and dedication to our kids. Karen, you have exemplified generosity, respect, and thoughtfulness throughout your time on this school board. Your leadership has helped all of us to grow. I don't think I could name another person who is truly as respectful as you are. You lead with your heart, and your impact has been immeasurable. Thank you for welcoming me onto the board and being a true friend. Tina, your dedication to our district, our students, and our staff is second to none. You know everybody. The personal and professional connections you've nourished have had a lasting impact on all of us. Your strength and courage to make tough decisions and your leadership through challenging times has been so impactful. Thank you for sharing your wealth of knowledge and your willingness to mentor us along the way. I hope you both feel loved and appreciated. Your work has made huge impacts, and our students are better off because of you. It's not goodbye, it's a farewell for now. I look forward to hearing about all the wonderful things you'll finally have time for and what you will write for your second chapter. And I leave you with this. May peace and plenty bless your world with a joy that long endures, and may all life's passing seasons bring the best to you and yours. Go Gators.
My turn now. First, I would like to take a moment to honor two of the most extraordinary people that I know that helped create such a beautiful family within our Seminole County Public Schools, and we are a family. You have served passionately for over 12 years, given so much to our students, families, faculty, committees, you name it, teachers. your compassion, your drive, your endless nights, countless hours that we have spent here together trying to figure out solutions to help our students and families as well as our wonderful faculty and teachers. Never complaining about anything, just always giving your heart and leading with such dignity and grace. You exemplify what every school board member should be. And I mean that from my heart, that you two are unbelievably amazing at everything you do. So many people don't know how many committees that they serve on besides just us here up in these meetings right here, but the numerous meetings that we must go to or serve on committees, as well as different boards that we serve on. You volunteered so much and helped out so much in the classrooms. And something that I have learned from you, as well as from all of my fellow colleagues here, is that you have and will always touch the lives of so many, and you have made a huge impact that will never, ever leave. We want you to know you're always welcome here, and we're still wanting you to still wave at 5:30 in the morning when we wave those bus drivers off to greet our wonderful children. A little time that I would like to thank Randy, Member Allman's husband, for being here, for being very supportive and being her rock and always making sure that she had lunch. I would see him come out into the parking lot, and I would just greet him while he would make sure that she had food on a long day, bringing her lunch box. Then Alexis and Joe for being here. Karen's other half and daughter. Tina, did I say Karen? Sorry, Tina's other half. Well, okay, well, people still think that they look alike, so, and I never confuse them, I'm sorry. Yeah, well, people think that, sorry. Tina's Joe and Alexis, who looks like Tina. Thank you for being here and everything you do and being the rock and the support. I know there are many times that you have to listen to them on the phone at night and the daily emails or phone messages and phone calls that they've had to encounter and the difficult decisions that they've had to make over the years. And they've had to make some pretty difficult decisions, pre-pandemic, post-pandemic, you name it. 12 years, there's a lot that has gone on in education, a lot of changes that have happened. But we're bringing it back to the way it needs to be. Too often, people neglect to mention all the wonderful things that these fine ladies have done, and we hear the negative rather than the positive. And I know each and every one of you out there feel the same way I do, that they have led with their heart and have led with their compassion and drive. So I know that you feel the same way that we all do here, that they are amazing at what they do and will continue to be examples for us as well as for so many. One of my favorite posters entitled Priorities says, 100 years from now, it will not matter what my bank account was, or the sort of house that I lived in, or the kind of car that I drove in. But the world may be different because you were important in the life of a child, and children, should I say, because I like to add that to it. So thank you from the bottom of my heart and from all of ours for everything you have done and for the countless hours and for making us a family. God bless you both.
I just want to say thank you to both of you for believing in me, supporting me as a friend. I consider you a family member. You have taught me a lot as an individual, as a mother, as a community member, and I appreciate it. And I hope that the legacy that we carry on in this board honors what you have done at this board. So thank you. And I just want to quickly say thank you to the Lyman team, the Lake Mary team that came and sang in your honor. For those that may not know, Dr. Calderon is a graduate of Lake Mary, so that was her alma mater. Kids. And Karen from Lyman, and so that was a special honor for you. So thank you to the principals, Lindsay for helping, Missa and Jill for helping Grace, and then the Lake Howell Culinary Program for the little reception before the meeting. So thank you. And then
Thank you. I'm going to save most of my comments for the end of the meeting, but I want to thank my husband and my family because we typically go to bed about an hour from now. And after board meetings, I come home and I just go on for hours. And he supports me and he just says, oh, you want to watch another show? So, but they've been supportive of everything I do, always. Thank you.
Since they're here, and I know which one is my husband, Joe, and my daughter, Alexis, and my son's working. He couldn't be here, but thank you for the sacrifices you made for me to follow my passion while the nights with no dinner and events I couldn't go to, but I love you. Thank you.
And board members, I would like to say simply thank you. On behalf of current staff and past staff that are in the audience, you should celebrate. Think about the thousands of dreams that have been launched because of your dedication to providing a high-quality education to every one of the students in Seminole County. So let's celebrate. Let's celebrate that. Thank you.
thank you. Okay, so we will move on to the school district highlights. Let's take a 5-minute break. If you guys don't mind, we'll take a 5-minute break. We will come back at 6:12.
with the green light.
Uh-huh.
Like
Yeah.
Dr. Carter has hers.
Well, we're gonna start without her, is that okay?
Yeah, she was just going up for her coffee.
So go ahead and start.
I have no idea what I said because I improvised. I wrote all that down and I'm like,
Okay, we're going to reconvene. If I can have everyone quiet down, please. I did forget one important thank you. Our JET students brought you a bouquet of balloons in there. Those were what was decorated in the little reception for you. So please make sure that you pick those up and take them on the way home. And that was the JET students program, and so they always do such a nice job of celebrations. So I will turn it over to you, Superintendent.
Okay, next up is our Focused on Student Achievement in regards to college fair. So Dr. Gard Harold and team, I'll turn it over to you.
All right. Good evening, school board members and Ms. Beeman. We talk about celebration. We have so much to celebrate here tonight with our review of the Sci-High College Fair and the HBCU Fair. And so just some of the folks that are here with me this evening. So I have to my left is Dr. Rebecca Carter, who is the College and Career Strategist at Sci-High, Dr. Nicola Williams, who's our coordinator for school counseling. We have, and then Avi, and oh man, I just had
Omatola.
Omatola. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
You're okay.
I even did it phonetically and I wrote it down, but now I don't have it in front of me. So, but those are a couple of our students that are going to be sharing some of their insights with you. And then we also have, back in the audience, we have Mr. Patrick, who is the coordinator of Sci-High. So we, as you know, we started a campaign this year in ePathways called What's Your E? And that E stands for, when you graduate from high school, are you going to seek enlistment, enrollment, or employment? And we are building opportunities around those experiences for students in order to prepare them for whichever one of those E's they choose to pursue. But tonight we're going to focus on enrollment, and our staff and our students are going to share with you a little bit about their experiences. So I will turn it over to Dr. Carter, who's going to talk to you first about the Sci-High College Fair.
Am I loud enough? Hello, I am Rebecca Carter, the strategist for college and career programming at the Problem Solving Incubator High School, so Sci-High, and I just want to say thank you so much. I'm super excited to be here, so thank you for having us and letting us talk to you about what we've been doing and working on. And I'm going to push the button. Okay, so we hosted our college fair on Saturday, October 8th. It ran from noon to 4 p.m., and it was at our location at Sci-High, so it was great to be able to have a bunch of people from the community come in and see our space. We had multiple colleges and universities who did attend our college fair and provide information to Seminole County students and families, including more than half of the public universities in Florida's state university system, and we had Seminole State College, many of the private universities in Florida, and some out-of-state universities as well. So it was great representation. And although our event did pass, of course, we do still have our website up and available for everyone to access. So that is at psicollegehub.com. And that does still have information for college application support and FAFSA, financial aid, scholarships, and it links, of course, to like our district scholarship site as well. So a lot of information that is available for people there. We had just over 350 students who pre-registered to attend our event. We had about 500 participants. We were absolutely thrilled with that, having the college fair just a couple of days after Hurricane Ian rolled through. So it was phenomenal turnout from everybody. We also collected a lot of feedback. This was my favorite part, probably, just kind of hearing about people's experiences. Our students and families gave us feedback that they were really happy to have the opportunity to have those conversations with the college and university representatives, and also that they got to learn about schools they maybe didn't know existed, and lots of opportunity there. And also the universities gave feedback, and I felt really proud of us at Seminole County for this, because they said that they felt like they had really high quality conversations with our students and families. So I felt, SCPS, awesome. So I love that. And all of the college reps did indicate that they were either satisfied or very satisfied, and they gave us feedback, and we got a lot of information. So our next steps that we are going to have for Sci-Hi, of course, we are going to continue to support our current students as they're planning their post-secondary process. So the exploration for students who are not quite sure what they're going to do kind of feeds in with the what's your E, and also the application process, and then of course again pursuing financial aid. We also are coordinating for a UF trip, like to go have a private visit and tour, because they were unable to make it to our fair, but we are planning our fair for next year, and they are gonna come join us there. So that is, yes, go Gators. That is our next steps that we have coming up, and I am gonna pass to Dr. Williams.
And I'm going to jump in real quickly. So I've been in Dr. Carter's office a number of times when students are working with her on college essay writing or applications and all of these sorts of things. And it's just a phenomenal experience to watch her work through with students. We have a student at Sci-Hi who was recently accepted to Harvard University. We have a student who was accepted to the New York Conservatory. And these are kids' dream schools that they wanted to go to. And because they have someone who's helping to kind of usher them through the process, they're experiencing great success. And so we're very fortunate to have Dr. Carter in that role.
Privilege, thank you.
Good evening, I'm Nicola Williams, and thank you so much for providing us this time tonight to share with you about the HBCU Week event. So we were given the awesome opportunity in May of this year to work with HBCU Week, which is its own separate organization, and they were partnering with Disney's Wide World of Sports, ESPN Wide World of Sports, to host an HBCU Week event. The weekend event consisted of the college fair on Friday the 7th, which is the event that we were able to take our students to, but they had other events throughout the weekend and even provided free tickets for our families to go to their Battle of the Band events on Sunday. And our families definitely took advantage of that as well. One of the things we thought about as a committee when we were planning this event is the fact that it was going to be on a teacher work day, which would be a 3-day weekend for our students. So what were we going to do to get them excited about coming to their high school campus, getting on the bus, and heading out to our HBCU Week event? And I just want to say, because I don't want to assume, HBCU stands for Historically Black Colleges and Universities. So we thought of an initiative, Thrive with 5. It sounds very similar to what we do for benefits. We just kind of took it from that idea. So we created an opportunity to promote a lot of our college and career events that were happening in the fall, one of them being the Sci-Hi Fair, our FAFSA nights, financial aid nights. We also incorporated the Seminole State Decision Day that has now been postponed. But students have the opportunity to participate in that incentivized program, and if they attended the HBCU Week event, it was a multiplier. So anything that they did was multiplied by 2 by attending that event. We also were able to use the College Board Real Talk sessions. They had sessions on how to pay for college, as well as helping students explore HBCUs. And we held watch parties on Wednesday evenings. And surprisingly enough, we had students that would come and watch those webinars with us, and we would teach them about College Board's Big Future program, where they can earn other scholarship dollars, and help them to really prepare for this event. Another thing that we were able to do, we were able to obtain 16 buses, and we pretty much filled 16 bus loads of students to take them out to the event, and that was provided by HBCU Week. And we also had our SCPS transportation set up depot bus stops at our middle schools and elementary schools to assist students with getting to the high school campus on the day of the trip. So before the fair, as I mentioned, we had our Thrive with 5 competition. So that's the first flyer. The one in the middle is the promotion of our Real Talk watch parties. And the last one is the actual HBCU Week College Fair event and the permission form QR code that we use, which I think really helped to facilitate parents providing permission for their students to attend the trip. So on the day of, we had 587 students that went with us on the trip. And we were targeting our seniors, the class of 2023. That was the intention that HBCU Week had. But you know, as Seminole County, we always have other intentions as well for the benefit of our students. So we decided to provide special invitations to students in other groups so that we could bring underclassmen. We know it's so important for our students to have an opportunity when the time is right, as far as our seniors are concerned. But for our students in 9th through 11th grade, we want them to also be goal setting and to be exposed to this type of an event so that they understand that the grades they're making and the effort that they're putting forth right now is for that end goal of achieving that acceptance or scholarship and moving forward to post-secondary. So we were able to invite our Young Men and Women of Excellence, Black Student Union, Latinos in Action. We included our Take Stock in Children program, as well as pre-collegiate clubs at all of our high schools, and we really gave discretion to our school-based leaders to decide which groups to special invite on the trip. We had 76 chaperones, and we had a lot of parents that were interested in attending the trip and working with our students. And we provided special chaperone training to walk them through the event, teach them a little bit about what they needed to do to support the students the day of and after. There were, it ended up being over 50 colleges and universities that were represented at the fair. So this is just a list of some of the schools that were there. And we had 158 students that actually responded to our survey, and out of those students, they reported $1.3 million in scholarships. I would imagine it's more than that because I know of students that received scholarships that day that did not complete the survey, but we had 113 offers that day for acceptance to one of the colleges and universities at the event. So a lot went on that day that really changed the future for a lot of our students. We asked the students to rate their experience. We asked for feedback from the chaperones as well, and we were pretty satisfied with our 4.6 out of 5 rating for students and 4.7 out of 5 for chaperones. They really loved the event. They were very excited about it, and we just heard so much energy coming from our chaperones that work in our schools after the event, like just giving us little, you know, hey, this was great. The kids that didn't go were upset they didn't make it, and that kind of thing. So it really was a wonderful day and so much excitement in the room. One of the things we wanted to do is not make this just a one-day event where students went and then, you know, received those acceptances. So we created a follow-up package for chaperones so that they could follow up with students all the way through the month of April, and they're done by grade level. So we have different checklists available for 9, 10, 11, and 12. And we even went so far as to create an email that they could use to send to their students in case they were wondering, like, what should I be asking them and what kinds of things can I check in with them about? And we provided them with a resource list as well. So if a student had a question about something, we wanted them to know who they could contact to answer those questions. So if it's their school counselor or administrator at the school, that way we can just keep the lines of communication open and make sure students are prepared as they finish and get ready to go off to college. And then for those younger students to continue to prepare themselves for the opportunities that will come in the following school years. And what does the future hold? Well, we went to the website, and so unofficially but officially, they say they are going to be hosting the HBCU Week event again with Disney, and it will be happening again in the fall of 2023. So we've already started talking about and debriefing and planning on how we can do things even better and create even more organization and structure for this trip to incorporate more students so that they can have that opportunity. So now, we think the most important part of this presentation is what's to come, and that is our 2 students that attended each of those events, and we want to provide an opportunity for them to share with you their own firsthand account of what happened at the event.
Hi, I'm Avanish Puri, and I'm a sophomore at Sci-High, and I attended the college fair and helped out. So the turnout was pretty good. We had about 500 people, and students got to experience about 25 colleges, and it was really, really informative. We got to have one-on-one sessions with colleges, and in these sessions we got to learn about their admissions process and their various programs, and I learned more about colleges that I never even knew existed and programs that interested me that I didn't even know were there, and it was awesome. And the college representatives, they gave us like eye-opening insights. It was amazing to see their firsthand experiences coming from these colleges. Usually, as a junior or senior, you have to go to these colleges that you kind of have an interest in, take their tours, and it takes a lot of time. But at this college fair, all the colleges came to you, so it's like in like an hour or two, you have to knock out close to like 20, 30 colleges, and it was all very efficient and very informative. And this is like a perfect place to learn about all your options. Again, I didn't know a lot of these colleges were even available to me. And now I know more about their processes and how to apply and what programs I want to apply for.
Hi, my name is Amatola Lalade. Forgive me because I'm losing my voice a little bit, but I am a senior at Winter Springs High School, and I attended the HBCU Week Fair event, and I really enjoyed it. I had so much fun. When you walk in, like it looked like there was like 2,000 people in there. There was so many students of all ages. There's parents that are very involved, and each representative that I went to, they were very glad and helpful with providing different information about their programs and their scholarships, stuff like that. And it wasn't just walking around and talking to these different representatives, which is important, but they did have separate performances. Like they had a separate stage up with different performances to keep people engaged. I was in line for the I was in line waiting to talk to the Florida Agriculture and Mechanical University representative, and on stage they had one of the representative from a different high school, from a different college, just teaching kids their like a little song that they do at their colleges, and I was watching like in amazement, like how much fun people were having at the entire event. Like it made me feel so welcome in the entire thing, knowing that we were all there for one purpose and we were still having fun with something that's usually very terrifying, like college admissions and thinking about their future. That's usually very terrifying for a lot of kids, but they made it seem like it was no big deal, like it was something that you could all do.
And Omatola, tell us a little bit about your plans or your goals, your hopes and wishes.
I plan on I plan on doing my first 2 years at Seminole State and then doing the Ignite program with Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University to go to their school. So I'll be able to have an advisor from FAMU, talk one-on-one. I'll be one of their students. I'll be able to go to some of their events. And then I plan on majoring in psychology to become a pediatrician.
And so amazing. We have amazing kids in Seminole County, and yes, agreed. And I love that students like Avi are not waiting until the second semester of their senior year to have that panic moment of, uh-oh, high school is about to end. And so we're just so glad to have that opportunity to provide to students. And so we talk about things that have changed over the last 12 years. And Dr. Calderon and Ms. Almond, e-pathways did not exist 12 years ago. And so you can certainly put a Calderon and an Almond stamp on e-pathways. It is your guidance and your leadership and your support that have helped to bring these types of opportunities to our students. So thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to share our amazing kids and share a little bit of our story.
Thank you. Well done. Okay, board members, I have one item in our agenda. We have an ITN for wireless network cabling for high schools. So Member Kraus and Member Sanchez, if either of you are interested in sitting on that ITN, it's okay if not. We have 2 new board members that we can extend that offer to once they're sworn in, but so what's the it is for high schools. You did middle schools or elementary, so if neither of you want to, that's okay. We can extend it to the new board members. Okay. Okay. So we'll extend it to the new school board members after they're sworn in to see if they're interested and available. Okay, board member items for discussion. Dr. Calderon?
None, Madam Chair, thank you.
Okay, Member Sanchez? Member Kraus?
No, Madam Chair, thank you.
Member Almond?
No, Madam Chair, thank you.
And I have none as well. And so we will move on to the public comment section of the agenda. Member Sanchez?
Sure. Policy 1069.1, public participation at board meetings. The purpose of public participation segments at the board meeting is to allow the public to address matters within the board's jurisdiction and not for resolving individual grievances or disputes. Public comments related to education, the board agenda, and the district are welcome and encouraged. To maintain orderly conduct, the public comment segments of the meeting may not be used as open forums to discuss matters unrelated to education, to support or oppose candidates for public office, including presentation or political and/or campaigning issues, announcing candidacy or campaigning, or to engage in commercial speech attempting to sell a service or product to the board or to the public. Nor are they forums to address matters involving disciplinary actions of any kind, pending claims, complaints, litigation against the district or district personnel. Also, public comment segments are not formed to engage in personal attacks against school system employees or board members. Statements regarding agenda items made by a member of the public shall be limited to 3 minutes duration. On one designated group representative speaking on a proposition before the board will have a maximum of 6 minutes. If a speaker goes off topic from the specified agenda item, the presiding officer or parliamentarian may interrupt the speaker to ensure the meeting continues in an orderly manner. Statements regarding non-agenda items made by a member of the public shall be limited to 2 minutes duration and shall occur after the board concludes its business agenda. No speaker may yield his or her time to any other person. Substitutions of speakers will not be allowed except in exceptional circumstances as determined by the presiding officer. Speakers shall direct their comments only to the board and may not address the audience or other speakers. Each speaker has completed the request to address the school board form as required by policy, shall introduce themselves, give their city of residence, identify the matter to be addressed, specifying the agenda item if applicable, and indicate whether or not they are representing an organization. Attendees must register their intention to participate in any of the public portions of the meeting prior to the start of the public participation segment for the agenda items. Once the public participation segment for the agenda items commences, no additional speaker forms for either public participation segments will be accepted by the board clerk. This policy does not prohibit the board from maintaining orderly conduct or proper decorum in a public meeting. Thank you.
We have one agenda speaker, Ms. Nina Sandberg.
I'm Nina Sandberg, and I'm speaking on agenda item AD. I'm very happy to see at least some SCPS students are getting field trips again. But I must point out to the board that thousands of SCPS students have had no field trips at all for 3 years. The pandemic is over, and it is time for SCPS to resume its usual field trips for each grade. All SCPS students should be given the opportunity to participate in at least one field trip per year unless there are physical, mental, or disciplinary issues that would prevent their participation. It is time to resume normal, annual, customary field trips for all grades in SCPS. The board and superintendent should assign the task of scheduling field trips for winter and spring of this year to the appropriate personnel at all SCPS schools. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Order, please.
Okay.
Order.
Superintendent, do you have a recommendation on the consent agenda?
Yes, that the consent agenda be approved as presented.
So moved. Second.
Do I have any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Superintendent, do you have a recommendation on student discipline hearings?
Yes, that the School Board of Seminole County approved the student disciplinary recommendations from December 13, 2021, June 13, 2022, September 12, 2022, and October 17, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Superintendent, you have new business recommendations for curriculum?
Yes, there are a number of items to address. The first is that the School Board of Seminole County adopt the instructional materials recommendation of the Social Studies Adoption Committee for civics and authorize the superintendent to purchase the highest ranked committee choice that also appears on the 22-23 Florida Department of Education Social Studies Instructional Materials Adoptions List, current at the time of purchase.
So moved. Second.
Any further discussion?
I just have a comment. I want to thank all the people that served on these committees. I mean, it took a lot of time, a lot of research, and our team organized them so perfectly and orchestrated it that I feel very comfortable with all these decisions. But I wanted to say thank you to all who participated.
Thank you, I agree. Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next.
The next one is that the School Board of Seminole County adopt the instructional materials recommendations of the Social Studies Adoption Committee for United States History and authorize the superintendent to purchase the highest ranked committee choice that also appears on the 22-23 Florida DOE Social Studies Instructional Materials Adoption List, current at the time of purchase.
So moved. Second.
Any further discussion? Thanks again. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Next.
That the School Board of Seminole County adopt the instructional materials recommendations of the Social Studies Adoption Committee for Personal Finance Literacy and authorize the superintendent to purchase the highest ranked committee choice that also appears on the 22-23 Florida DOE Social Studies Instructional Materials Adoption List, current at the time of purchase.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Second.
I'm excited about this one.
Two.
Any more discussion on this? Okay, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Next.
Recommendation at D is that the School Board of Seminole County adopt the instructional materials recommendation of the Social Studies Adoption Committee for Economics and authorize the superintendent to purchase the highest ranked committee choice that also appears on the 22-23 Florida DOE Social Studies Instructional Materials Adoption List at the time of purchase.
So moved. Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next.
That the School Board of Seminole County adopt the instructional materials recommendation of the Social Studies Adoption Committee for United States Government and authorize the superintendent to purchase the highest ranked committee choice that also appears on the 22-23 Florida DOE Social Studies Instructional Materials Adoption List, current at the time of purchase.
So moved. Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And final, F.
Okay, that the School Board of Seminole County approve the instructional materials used to teach reproductive health for the 22-23 school year.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? I just do want to make a comment that within the last year, Florida legislature changed the description from sexual education to reproductive health, and thus we've made all of those changes within our documentation. So I know we've had several people bring up a concern about this, and I'm putting it on the record for clarification. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Superintendent, do you have a report?
My report is mostly read-only, but I would like Mr. Wolski to come up and give an update on the Evans Elementary matters that we discussed at the last board meeting.
Good evening, Chair. Good evening, Chair Pinnock, board members, Superintendent Beeman. I'd like to share with you, Principal Hardy of Evans Elementary sent out communication to parents and staff. So I'd like to share a little bit of that communication that went out on Sunday afternoon, then also share with you some steps that are occurring this week already as well. So on November 7th last week, the remediation contractor mobilized and began installing containment areas. We also, that week on 11/9, outside sealing of existing exterior windows were completed. On Wednesday, 11/9 as well, Wednesday afternoon, Tuesday night, we had a lot of rain, raining all Wednesday. We had a civil engineer go out Wednesday afternoon with a general contractor to look at drainage. We thought that'd be a good time with all the rain, look at drainage and site conditions. So we're expecting a report back this week on from that visit. On 11/9 as well, we contacted a secondary environmental consultant to schedule an assessment of the concretables, and in doing so too, we provided the consultant emails that we had received from parents and staff, notes that had been taken from parent meetings, staff meeting, from board meetings, so they could build their scope of work around these concerns and what we had shared with them as well. On 11/9, all existing windows weatherproofed in preparation of the hurricane. So some of the, on the windows, we actually boarded up on the outside again to keep from any additional water intrusion like we saw with the inn, with the rain and the wind blowing sideways. We wanted to prevent any additional intrusion. Remediation contractor began demolition remediation on 11/9, and then we shared with the parents and community that on Sunday that the remediation work or the project was still on schedule. Things that are happening this week. So this week, on Monday, yesterday, we had there were 4 classrooms that the contractor had done the remediated work and was waiting for Gallagher Bassett to give a clearance before any additional work moved forward. In addition to that, part of the second consultant, part of their role is also to give a clearance on that remediation work to make sure that the work can move forward as well. In that, tape lifts and air sampling will be conducted before the clearance to rebuild. In addition to the testing that Gallagher Bassett is doing, our second independent consultant will also be collecting mold air samples. We've also, part of this firm, they have a building envelope division. So we've asked for them to have one of their architects to look at the outside structure of the building envelope. And they will be looking at the walls, the flashings, windows, doors, and also the roofing systems. So far, everything is still on schedule and moving forward.
Any questions? Member Sanchez?
I have a question. When will we receive the preliminary report, knowing what the second assessment and everything like that is from?
So I do not have that information, the date of their full report. So again, and the second consultant was out yesterday as well to give those clearance. So as the contractor is going and removing, Gallagher Bassett's doing their testing, they're doing their testing, but the assessments of the concretables by the second consultant is occurring now.
Okay, great. And then you'll keep us in touch with all of that. And I know you're already sending out, Superintendent Beeman, as well as you have been sending out weekly emails to the families of Evans. Am I correct?
The weekly report, this was
Reports.
the first update, goes out with the principal's weekly email that goes out to all of the families. So it's included as part of it.
Correct. Okay, thank you. I appreciate you doing that.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
That is my report.
Okay.
So I just had a quick question. So the entire population of Evans is getting the information?
as I'm aware that the information went out on the typical weekly communication from the school. So I think that is correct. That is correct.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to make sure everyone, I would rather us over-communicate than under-communicate. Thank you.
And Chad, are we still on track for all the fixes to happen so that the classrooms can be usable after the week after Thanksgiving? Are we on track?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
So far,
okay. Any changes, you'll let us know?
yes, ma'am.
And the second assessment that's being done, air quality,
Yeah,
mold?
It's a full environmental assessment, and they are doing air mold testing as well.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to make sure that that was very clear that that is what is being done. So thank you. All right,
We appreciate you all doing the second assessment. Thank you.
all right, thank you. And that's all for your report?
That is all of my report.
Okay, so we are at board committee updates. Dr. Calderon, your final report?
The only board committee that I met on since our last meeting was the advocacy committee with the Orlando Science Center, and I hope as a team we'll all continue to communicate, because I think there's some potential for joint funding that we're trying to work on through education and the Orlando Science Center. So that might be a good committee for whatever board member would serve would continue that. So I can pass that on electronically. Thank you.
Member Sanchez?
Oh, I'm shocked. That was the shortest one you've made. Really? Come on, add more. Okay, yeah. Okay, so I'll just do committee on the coalition meeting. You
Hold
can-
on.
yeah.
Do you have any more to say, though? That's because we're at public
at the
comment
end.
after this.
I thought.
Okay.
Yeah.
You mean
This is
what
your
we've
time.
been doing
This
in the
is-
schools? Okay, we've
Yeah.
changed it. Okay. Thank you to all of the schools that had phenomenal trunk and treats. I know I ran into Mrs. Almond at one of them. It really brought the community together. I think the community has been longing to come together face to face for a long time, and that was a great way to have that occur. Redbug Elementary, I saw some T-shirts out there. Happy 50th anniversary! Great
Yay.
celebration for some phenomenal educators and phenomenal students. A thank you from the bottom of my heart for everyone who worked through the hurricane and tropical storm. When I visited the shelters, all of our staff members had smiles on their faces. So did the residents, quite frankly. They were getting antsy if the bingo game didn't start on time or the movies weren't started, but the food was excellent, so everywhere from dining services to administration to maintenance to the transportation to give door-to-door service to some of our residents, top-notch customer service. Shout out to our transportation department. This is starting to be every single meeting because they are such a phenomenal team, but did a great fundraiser for breast cancer and raised $1,800. And just as a side note, we honored the Philharmonic relationship we had tonight, but when I went to one of the concerts downtown, I actually had 3 different bus drivers come up to me and thank me for allowing them to do that. So talk about willingness to work and loving their jobs. I just can't thank them enough. We talked about Orlando Philharmonic. Central Florida Hotel Lodging Association, I went to their annual membership lunch, and I think it would be very good to continue that positive relationship with them. They were giving out scholarship dollars and grants to other entities, not Seminole County. So there is a conference call that I'll be on with one of our assistant superintendents with their president on Friday, so we're hopeful to broaden our relationship of
Bless
that
you.
great organization. Thank you and bravo to the Seminole County All-County Honor Choir. It was a phenomenal performance, and you know me, I knew one of the conductors when she got up there on stage. She was in full black with red stiletto heels. I'm like, she's going to be good. So, and she was. She conducted our students with high spirit, and they did a phenomenal, phenomenal job. Our community leadership this month was held at Stenstrom Elementary, and thank you to all of our elementary team for doing a great presentation, great tour, and I'm sure everybody learned a lot. Karen and I had the opportunity to go to Oviedo High School when they were filming for the Today Show, and it was orchestrated like it was an Academy Award-winning movie. Everything was precise. Every student was there, the administrators, the teachers. It was a great morning, and it was great that they got national recognition for their 100th year anniversary. I got to attend Dancing for Diabetes, so a shout out to our phenomenal student dancers that were up on stage at Steinmetz Hall. You know the Dazzlers, we love them anyway. And speaking of the Dazzlers, Thursday night, if anybody wants to go to their fall dance show, 6:30, Seminole High School. Congratulations today. I had the honor to see Commissioner Amy Lockhart voted in as chairman of our county commission and Andrea Hurt as our vice chair. So I'm sure you'll enjoy working continuously, as we always have, collaboratively with our county commission. And I was honored to be the speaker at the Seminole County Public Schools Retired Teachers Luncheon this past week. It was great to see some familiar faces, sad to see that they were retired, but the good news was many said they wanted to come back and substitute, and many are here volunteering. So these phenomenal teachers, when you love education, it's in your blood, and it was great to see them again. And shout out to we were supposed to be at the Maitland Rotary Art Show, so a lot of preparation went into a lot of art shows, unfortunately postponed by rain, but thank you to all of our fine arts teachers that always make that happen to allow our students to shine. And that concludes my report.
All right, Member Sanchez.
Our Central Florida School Board Coalition meeting is tomorrow, 9:30 in the morning. Basically, we just talk about things that are affecting our schools in our Central Florida area, as well as any legislative updates. We moved it to Wednesday because we are honoring Dr. Jenkins from Orange County. She wasn't able to do it on Monday, but our meetings are usually on a Monday. So that will be tomorrow. And then we'll have our next coalition meeting at the Florida School Board Association conference that the 5 board members will be going, including our 2 new board members, Autumn Garrick, which I see in the audience, so she'll be there, as well as Miss Kelly Davis, and we'll be there for a few days. The zoo had a fundraiser at Wekiva Island about a week and a half ago to help raise some funds since we suffered a lot of damage on the zoo grounds. And, you know, until our FEMA money comes through, we were raising some money to help with the animals, and there has been lots of gracious people offering pumpkins. I know that Amy Pennick, your church, has offered pumpkins, and we appreciate all that. I didn't realize how much they either play with the pumpkins that are from the fall festivals that aren't used, or actually eat them. So I learned something new from that. But once again, the animals did fabulous in the second storm. We've all been going to many school visits and talking to teachers and seeing many different things taking place, a lot of learning. And I see a lot of classes taking the opportunity to work outside underneath a tree, which is something I used to love doing, reading underneath a tree or just taking all the chairs and enjoying this beautiful weather, especially since it's getting ready to cool off. We also had the Hero Strong event this past weekend, and they honored the teachers, and I forgot to bring my little fake check, but it was basically saying teachers and educators and all of our employees, thank you. You are our heroes, and we appreciate everything you do. So there were a couple of teachers. There was a teacher there from Journeys, and then there was a teacher there from Millwee Middle, and that was a wonderful event. We also honored firefighters and police officers and many other first responders, and I know Jessica Tillman was there with me as well. Then also, Christine Krause and I had the opportunity to go with Superintendent Beeman to Oviedo's Great Day in the Country. And Ms. Beeman gave out scholarships, money to students.
I handed out the actual certificates. The money came from a number of individuals, including Commissioner Delary.
Exactly.
Just wanted to make that clear.
Right. Yes, you got that before I was going to say. So it was one of those wonderful events where we have sponsors And we're looking to do that even in other locations. I know like Lake Mary Rotary does that, and I had spoken to our mayor in Longwood, and we're going to be doing that into the Lyman and Lake Brantley area in the spring, because it really was a wonderful, wonderful day, and the students and teachers received money, so that was really nice. And it's something that we could be doing across the whole county. Also, Glassful of Hope with Allie's Hope, that's mental health, the board that I serve on, that so many of us are passionate about. A Glassful of Hope will be on December 7th. It is on a Wednesday evening at the Heathrow Racket Clubhouse. Yes, thank you. And we would love to have you there. All you need to do is go to allieshope.org and check it out. And it's a great way to learn about all the wonderful services that we can provide for our students, and student services that we still possibly need, as you know, especially during the holidays, as things are getting harder and harder for families. And speaking on behalf of that, I want you to take a chance to go to our website, and I know Ms. Mills and her team have worked diligently to help with our giving tree and helping our families that are in need. And if you could, please help spread the joy, and if you could donate anything to our families that are in need, that would be greatly appreciated, as well as our food pantries. We're always in need of those things. And so if you know anybody, or if you have any extra dollars, or anybody that you can reach out to, please have them go to our website and either donate, or they can bring in an item for those families. Also, the Night of Impact with our gala was canceled due to the hurricane, Hurricane Nicole, but that will be December 3rd, and we're looking forward to that and that fabulous evening. It's always wonderful. Also, I don't want anybody to forget that the Magnet open enrollment period, and I know that Kyle Hughes has done an excellent job, in his team, with sending out emails as well as mailers to families about open enrollment for the Magnet programs that are available. That started October 1st, ends December 1st. That is also on our website. There's also information on the website about the open enrollment for so many of the other different programs too. Transfer 2022-23 transfer, school transfer options, and that deadline is also approaching. So please make sure you check out the different information on those sites. If you haven't had a chance, it's really a valuable source to go to our website as much as you possibly can. And on the last note, I just wanted to mention our Golden Gala Nutcracker 40th anniversary in honor of Jim Weinberg, and our honorary speaker will be Sheriff Lima. Will be this Saturday. Alice Weinberg will be holding that event, and it will be at the Marriott, Lake Mary Marriott, at 6 p.m., and we still have seats available. So if anybody would like to support cancer, pediatric cancer, for our children in our Central Florida areas, we would love for you to either come to the event or donate anything, or money or time. And also, we have our Thanksgiving luncheon coming up for our transportation department, which is on Thursday. So other than that, you all have a happy and a safe Thanksgiving.
Member Kraus.
Thank you. I, too, went to several trunk or treats, but I have to give a shout out to Winter Springs High School, Mr. Jarzinka. Phenomenal. There must have been 2,000 people there. It was so big and so needed in our community. A thank you to Jean Van Smith from our foundation. She presented, the Business Advisory Board actually met at Tools for Schools office, and we did a supply drive, each of the business members, advisory board members. So thank you to Jean Van Smith for organizing that and just sharing another program, another fabulous program that we have for our teachers and staff. The Children's Cabinet, I will send you the updates. I don't have the minutes yet from that. And I was going to mention great day in the country. It was great to be with a beautiful day outside after too many storms. So thank you.
Member Almond?
Thank you. I may read some of my notes out of order. I've been jotting down thoughts. I'll do my committee-ish type first. Rotary, I'm a part of Rotary, and we have an Art, Craft, and Wine Festival this weekend at Uptown Altamont. You can go to the craft part for free. It's purchased to taste the wines, but the money goes to scholarship and to fund nonprofits in the community. Tomorrow is Walk to School Day for Casper Elementary, so I always participate. My kids went to school there. Campus Renewal Celebration Friday and ribbon cutting at Casper Elementary at 1 o'clock. They have a new building, and it's all been refreshed. It's really beautiful, so we'll be celebrating that. It's really hard to walk away from here. I think I can speak for both of us that we love serving this district, the children, the teachers, the administrators, all of you that come out to the meetings who are so passionate about what you believe. We appreciate you being here very much. We appreciate that you take the time to do that. Let's see. I probably won't miss the late nights. I won't miss ducking reporters, but, but we've done some really good work. And I know, I feel confident you will carry on the good work as you move forward. I wish good luck to the new school board members. Reach out to them and get to know them. Give them a chance. They'll be drinking from a fire hose. I hope that they always make decisions that are in the best interest of the students, first and foremost. That's what they're charged with. That's what we're charged with. I will miss seeing my friends as often as I see you, which is very often, but we'll keep in touch and we will see each other. You can call Tina and I both for any advice. Sounding board, we're here for you. We are here for you. We have an incredible community, both business-wise and faith-based. They step up so often to support, oftentimes behind the scenes that you don't know about, to support you, to support the kids. Thank you to the administrators that came out tonight, the retired folks, the retired friends. We appreciate you and your legacy too. You worked really, really hard for this district, and the fact that you care to keep coming out is awesome. And I think, lastly, whoever put this all together tonight touched our hearts like no tomorrow. We'll never forget this. It's been a labor of love, and we feel appreciated, and thank you. Thank you.
Thank you both. Last Friday was Veterans Day, so without letting that pass, just want to thank all the veterans, not only that work for us, that are in our community as well. Many of us attended a lot of the homecoming parades, and it was fun to see the kids, to see the families come out and cheer the kids on. I got to be a parent and chaperoned a weekend debate tournament at in Gainesville for Lake Mary, and if you ever have a doubt that our future is at risk, go watch a debate tournament. Go judge a debate tournament. It's wildly impressive. These kids are so smart and amazing. And I'm going to give a shout out to the teacher sponsor, Mr. Crisp from Lake Mary High School. As I was chaperoning some of these kids around, you know, we didn't come away with awards and trophies, but the kids talked about it wasn't important to win the debate, but as long as I know that Mr. Crisp is proud of me, I know that I've done a good job. And that speaks volumes for our teachers. And so just kudos to him for creating that relationship and that life-changing impression for our students. It's not just Mr. Crisp, it's every single teacher that's sitting in this room. It's every single teacher that's home with their families, that's in our schools every day that makes those impressions, and I cannot thank them enough. Thursday, I am speaking at the Women in Green Advancing Sustainable Development Goals. It is the engineering seminar that I was asked to speak at that got rescheduled because of Hurricane Ian. And so I'm excited to talk about all of the great things that we're doing to advance women in STEM in Seminole County. A big shout out to Miss Mills, who will be handing out 750 meals on Saturday. Her initial ask and get was our initial ask and give was going to be 120, and through Mrs. Magic, she got 750 meals donated for the community members in need. And so this Saturday there will be a drive-through for families to get Thanksgiving meals to celebrate. During a time that our pantries aren't open. Where is that drive? It's right here. Yeah,
Right
they'll
here.
be driving through right here. So, Mrs. celebrating her 10th year here, and I don't know what we would do without her. She has her hands in so many successes in this school district. So, thank you, Miss. I greatly appreciate you. We all greatly appreciate you. And that is it for board comments. So we are now at public comment, non-agenda items. And I'm just going to reiterate that Vice Chairman Sanchez has provided a clear statement of the requirements for civility and decorum during school board meetings pursuant to Board Policy 169.1. I would like to reiterate that the public comment segment of this meeting is not a forum to engage in personal attacks, heckling, abusive comments, or verbal outbursts in the disruption of conducting an orderly meeting. Remarks must relate to the business of the district. Should a speaker persist in conduct in violation of the board policy, the microphone will be turned off and the speaker will be instructed to step away from the podium. Everyone in this assembly is warned that failure to conduct oneself as stated may be removed. We have 29 speakers tonight, members, so wanted to just give you that heads up. I do apologize.
Order, please. Order.
I will just apologize ahead of time if I pronounce your name wrong. But we will start off with Chris Cole, followed by Robin Dellinger, followed by John Stewart.
Actually, I know most of you. How are you guys doing? This is a different role for me. Usually I'm over there doing You Make Us Proud awards and stuff. But the system is broken, guys. I've seen too many Teacher of the Years leave for other school districts. They're making more money in other places like Flagler County. And we got to fix it. I've never literally come in here ever to complain about anything. And you know that. I've been doing this 27 years. But we got to fix it. When I was hired by Wayne Epps to build the environmental program at Winter Springs 27 years ago, he showed me a list of 90 names. He said, Chris, why would I hire you? They're all highly qualified candidates. Do you get that anymore? We don't get that anymore. We got to fix it. So the system is broken. It's one of those things I hate times, but let me see my little notes real quick. When I was at Winter Springs, I earned $15,000 grant, followed by $15,000 grant, and Wayne Epps looks at me, he goes, Chris, if you don't spend the money, they'll cut you back. And he goes, basically spend the money. He was right, because I was very diligent about how I spent the money. They cut us to $87.50 the third year. You've got to do something. You've got to spend the money. Otherwise, the state doesn't understand we need more. So that's the message I would leave. I can't fix this in 2 minutes. But what I can do is I'm here to talk to people about it. We need to fix it. I'm tired of seeing great teachers leave. I've seen people leave, literally. One guy to deal poker. He was making more money dealing poker than teaching. We need that person back in the classroom. I've seen people go to other districts. It's sad. We got to fix it. All right, thank you.
Order. Order to hear the speaker.
Good evening. What? So I got 20? Okay. So my name's Robin Dellinger. I live at 1445 Northridge Drive in Longwood. And this retired educator couldn't let this night go by without coming to say thank you to Mrs. Allman and Dr. Calderon. 12 years as a board member, I think that's got to be some kind of record, you know, but you guys were involved in so many things for many, many years prior to that. And I had the pleasure of working with you in many capacities over the years. I did start up here in this office in 2010, which is when you all became board members. Just a couple of things, and you have done so many things, but Dr. Calderon, one of my favorite things about you is that every year during Literacy Week, you dress up like a princess and go to elementary schools and read to all the kids, and they love it. And I just think that's a special thing, in spite of everything else that you do. Mrs. Allman is one of the most thoughtful people that I know. She remembers every birthday with a card and a special gift. You walk into your office and it's there. Thoughtful, I think, is just a perfect description of you. So, and then also, you know, the board members, I'm sure, look forward to the 9 graduations and the summer graduations where you get to shake hands with, you know, thousands of kids. I figure it's got to be over 60,000 by now. Your leadership through the years has been critical to the success of our A-rated, nationally recognized school district. You are always focused on our students. That's what we do, and you always maintain that focus. Even in the most recent, very challenging times, you were able to put the welfare of our students and our staff foremost in your actions and not be distracted by all the noise. Please know that your leadership is appreciated, especially by those who have worked with you and who have some understanding of the complexities of your roles as board members. So I just want to personally thank you and let you know that it was a privilege and a pleasure to work with you. Thank you.
John Stewart.
Order, please.
Can I just thank you for your support of the music program? It is a godsend, and it's you know, I'll be forever grateful. Mr. Furlan, Mr. Schaefer, incredible mentors, and I just wanted to throw that out. Ooh, it's already started. This will only take a couple minutes. I'm a dad. I'm a son of a retired public school teacher. I married a Seminole County school teacher, and I'm a veteran of what seems to be a long-forgotten war, that is the Cold War. So in the spirit of what our governor is asking for, I'd like to just ask for a few little tweaks to our curriculum. First, add the word kulak, and that's spelled K-U-L-A-K. Sometimes one word says a lot. Second, you know, we talk about socialism, but it's astonishing how many people just don't know the definition. So we should teach our kids what the definition is. It's when the government assumes control of all means of production and distribution, full stop. Next, could we remove the Lorax, the kids' cartoon, from our high school science program? You know, they're smart. Anyone who thinks a kid's cartoon has anything to do with high school science, I don't think is tethered to reality. So, you know, there used to be a show called Kids Say the Darndest Things. Just a few of the darndest things that my kids have said at the dinner table. Hey, Dad, my teacher said humans are an invasive species. What's an invasive species? Hey, Dad, my teacher said pretty soon the state of Florida is going to be underwater. That was before the floods. And then a text from my son, hey Dad, no joke, we're watching the Lorax again, and that was in high school science. So thank you.
Jessica Cregan, followed by Steve Ratcliffe, followed by Mary Rhodes.
Good evening. My name is Jessica Cregan. I have a second grader at Evans, so I'm here to address the concretable issue. I do want to thank the board members for listening to us, for helping to take action. I appreciate Superintendent Beeman coming out. I will say Kim Dove did a phenomenal job helping to facilitate that. But my issues have to come with the fact that the update we got was, the only word I can think of is vague. For as much of the concern that we have raised, there was more information that should have been included. And my concern is that there isn't another board meeting until December 13th for us to come back to you to tell you all the problems. Granted, we are emailing you, we are telling you that these are the issues, but our problem is when we ask questions in an email format, because the only update I'm getting is a weekly, the response I get from the superintendent's office is that I'll have to wait to the weekly update. So there aren't answers to the questions, the specific questions we have. And why is that important? There's a secondary assessment company. Who is this? Why is the name? Why can't we just know who these people are? We use it, secondary assessment team. Who is that? And really, what is the purpose? What is their defined scope? What are they going in there doing? Are they doing the exact same thing Gallagher Bassett is doing? Or was their scope broadened? I'd like to understand the question to that. When are these reports going to be released? And specifically, so we've heard now 4 classrooms were tested. When are those results? We literally have a week and a half before our kids are supposed to go back into that classroom, and I don't have any type of report to tell me what those issues, what were the findings, to be able to take action if I don't want my kid in there. Superintendent Beeman's answer to if I don't want my kid in that classroom was I could be transferred to another school. That's not an acceptable answer. And so what I need is Superintendent Beeman's office to answer my specific questions, and all the other parents have specific questions. Do not give me a canned answer.
Order, please. Order. Allow the next speaker to speak.
I want to start off by painting a picture of a concretable. Water leaks in the windows every time it rains against them. When it rains extremely hard, water comes up through the floors and walls. Mold and fungal growth is evident. Humidity is extremely high inside the concretables, so facility seals off the fresh air returns, no fresh air coming in through the ACs. No outside venting. Then facilities department installs portable AC units to try to cut down on humidity levels. Problem is they install the exhaust from these AC units into the ceilings, where the recycled air dropped back down into the concretable. At that point, the moisture levels were so high that the iron beams dripped down dirty brown water onto, guess where? The children below. With reference to the Gallagher Bassett proposal, indicates proposal services are for potential concerns with regard to the air quality and moisture control in the concretable classrooms. The concerns are related to the performance of the mechanical systems, that's the AC systems. Although the proposal for services was that, they elected the weekend before the assessment to remove the old mechanical system and install new ones. Why did they do that? On the day before the assessment, the Gallagher Bassett people indicated they don't have much time to do this. It's going to have to be a quick run through to do this inspection. One last thing on the proposal, it says on the last page, the fee estimate is expected to be sufficient to accomplish the asbestos consulting services associated with this project. SCPS will only be billed for the actual number of hours and samples needed to complete the survey. If additional hours or samples are required, I've never even heard about asbestos testing, and all of a sudden I see it on their proposal. The inspections assessments should include the ground under concretables, moisture barrier, concrete foundation, plumbing penetrations, vinyl floor tiles, ceiling tiles, attic space, AC ducts, wall cavities, and embedded wall rigid insulation. Due to groundwater intrusion multiple times over the last 10 years, mold should not be the only thing tested for. This is super important. Pesticides, fertilizers, petroleum products, and fecal matter should also be tested for due to the number of times these things have been flooded out from the groundwater. All this you hear, and we hear that if the kids don't go back in there or the parents don't feel comfortable going back in there, that the superintendent of schools will relocate those children.
Order, please.
Hello again.
my name is Mary Rhodes, and I've attended the meetings regarding the deteriorating condition of our concretables. Recently, I attended the parent town hall meeting, which was held with great parent turnout. As I listened, it was repeatedly requested to have air quality testing completed. Parents were passionate about their child's health and safety. When asked about an alternative arrangement, should a family not feel safe in having their child return to the building, the response was that the student would then be transferred. I'd like to know what would happen if a teacher didn't feel safe going back into the room. I would like to
Order,
know,
please. Allow the speaker to talk.
I would like to know what repercussions we will face due to the lack of your facility maintenance and upkeep. I'm typically a glass half full person, but this situation has changed my view. I've seen with my own eyes the mold in the classrooms, I've seen the overcrowded rooms, the exhaustion and changes in my coworkers. As much as we desperately want to be in our own rooms, we cannot go back until our concerns have been addressed and the results given. Please assure us that alternative plans are being prepared in case the estimated time of construction is not completed in the timely way that it has been suggested. Staying in our classrooms with over 40 students should not become a permanent solution. Your students and your teachers deserve better.
Order, please.
Danielle Roush, followed by Kristen Bear, followed by Shadana Borders.
Dear School Board and Superintendent, my name is Danielle Roush. Thank you for listening to our concerns over the past few weeks about Evans Elementary School. I am a parent of a second grader at Evans that has been directly impacted by the concretable classrooms that have 2 classrooms that were combined into one for a total of 40 students into one classroom. We appreciate that you're going to do air quality tests and tape lifts to test for harmful mold in the buildings. After talking to parents of students at Evans and teachers, a few questions come to my mind. I would like to know who you hired to test the buildings. That's the secondary company that's been doing the evaluations. When should we expect the results of the testing, and are you going to share them publicly so we know what the results are? We would also like to see the results of everything, the second independent assessment. Are you still anticipating a November 28th return to the concretable classrooms? This would mean that teachers would need to move back at the end of this week or the end of next week. And of course, next week we are out of school. This seems unlikely to me since we will be out of school and teachers don't have access to the concretable building since the locks on the doors were changed. We are also starting to see humidity levels in the main building in the 60 to 71% range. Will the school district be addressing this issue? I also gave the school board members and the superintendent a copy of my last email, and paper copy if you would like to read it. Thank you for your time, and I hope that we can continue to work together as a community to help identify and fix the issues that are happening at Evans Elementary School. Thank you.
Order, please.
Kristen Bear.
Hello, everyone. I'm here again regarding Evans. I just wanted to make a few points. First of all, I would like to know the name of this company who's doing this second testing and remediation scope. I really want to know what's going on with all of that. I do appreciate you guys hiring someone else. I greatly appreciate that. But I'm a little concerned because I've sent numerous public records requests. It got a response from both Jessica and Carolyn that they would get me the records in accordance with Florida state statutes. And I followed up twice now on those emails and I get no response. So why am I not getting a response? Why can I not get these things that I'm requesting? It's public record. So why can I not get a hold of anyone? Why can I not get the work orders that I'm requesting? What are we trying to hide? That's all I have to say.
Order, please.
Hello, my name is Shadana Borders. I have a 4th grader at Evans Elementary, and thank God that my daughter was not in one of those concretables. She has never been in one, and fortunately for me, she is not in one of those doubled up classrooms. However, I still wanted to come and speak because I have friends who have kids who were in those classrooms and who were in the doubled up classrooms, and it can't be fair to the students to think that they're gonna be able to learn under these conditions. I mean, they are not even stable. 1 minute they're in a concretable that may or may not be hazardous. Now they're lumped in with a whole bunch of other kids. Kids already have a hard enough time with keeping their attention span and paying attention. And now there's 40 of them in a room together, and they have to figure this out. I don't think that that's fair for the teachers. I don't think it's fair for the students. And to say that the students can just be moved to another school, that's just shifting a problem somewhere else. And what about the teachers? Can they just go to a different school? Are they gonna have to quit? Do they have to find a new job? These people are already paid pennies. I definitely wouldn't wanna work for their salaries. And they obviously love these children because they keep coming back. And all I get is these vague emails. We're working on it. I didn't hear anything about mold until someone who comes to these meetings and follows up with it came and told me. The school surely wasn't the first one to tell me. And I just feel like it's a real big sketchy cover-up type thing where I'm not hearing the information straight from the horse's mouth. I'm having to find it from other people and dig for it. And I feel like the school board should be head on for this. I mean, in my years of growing up, I've had to learn, I have to take things head on. Kicking the can down the road doesn't make it any better. And I feel like the can's just really being kicked down the road. And I just want answers. Who is this company? I mean, that's the biggest thing. Who is this company? What's gonna happen? Thank you for your time.
Order, please.
Ruth Casiano, followed by Mitchell Kraus, followed by Deborah Kraus.
Good evening. My name is Ruth Casiano. I have two awesome kids that attend Evans. My daughter's in kindergarten, and my son is in second grade. My son's class is assigned to the concretables. Much has been presented or will be presented regarding the concretables. My son has a well-documented serious breathing issues, who has potentially been exposed to toxic mold. This entire situation makes me angry and sick. Our two older kids, who are currently in college, also attended Evans, and the issues with the concretables and water problems existed then. Yet over a decade later, here we are with the same issues, but worse. The concretables are running on life support, so to speak. How much longer will they be patched and spackled before being removed and real building constructed? It's obvious that the main building is not big enough and will never be big enough to house the students it serves. Speaking of the main building, the classrooms in there have also been without air conditioning. The small room that my son and 40 classmates are crammed in until recently have been relying on portable ACs. My daughter's classroom in kindergarten still has a portable AC unit. These are construction AC units never meant to be in a classroom with children. These units are also being run into the ceiling, just like the concretables. The children have been taken out of one pot and just placed into another, causing similar and additional issues. My daughter is very resilient. Before coming to Evans, she had the most that she's ever had was a cold that lasted never more than 48 hours and never once ran a fever. Yet, since coming to Evans, she has been sick nonstop since September, spiking fevers for the first time in her life 2 weeks ago. Kids everywhere are sick right now. 'Tis the season. However, they're also getting exposed to further illness with these ventilation issues. The teachers are working tirelessly to keep the room clean and disinfected, but they cannot clean the air. The kids are sick, the teachers are sick, all the time. The AC has been out since the summer, and now it's November. When are the AC issues going to be resolved? When are all of these issues going to be resolved? Because they've been going on for over a decade. You're all charged with the health and safety of our children. Please put these actions into place to prove it. The solution of transferring children is ridiculous. And I would like to see these problems being fixed. Thank you.
Order, please. Allow the next speaker to come up.
Good evening. My name is Mitchell Kraus. I live in Altamont Springs. I want to address an issue other than Evans, but I want to take some of my time. I don't have a child that goes to Evans, but listening to these parents here today concerns me about the condition of our schools, and this board needs to take their concerns seriously. I'm here talking about another issue that now seems petty, but I need to address it to this board. I believe the board's progression plan discriminates against dual enrollment students by discounting the amount of credits they get for dual enrollment classes into their GPA. When I found this out by trying to calculate my daughter's GPA, when I couldn't do it, and then I realized that what they were doing was discounting credits earned in dual enrollment students. Then I learned not only why I couldn't do it is that the district has created, or there was a district-wide error as to dual enrollment students' GPA. And what has happened now, as October 24th, is that all GPAs for dual enrollment students are going to be lowered because the credits they earned in calculating a GPA are lower. This is directly in violation of Florida Statute 1007.271, the articulation agreement signed by this board, which calculates how credits are going to be awarded, and also Florida statute, which specifies how credits are going to be awarded for dual enrollment students. This is a big problem because they altered GPAs without telling any of the students while the students were applying for college. This is a major issue. I'm going to take the rest of my time as Evans. Listening to this mold issue is a problem. I ask you to take that issue as seriously as you do any other, because the health of our children are at stake. Thank you.
Order, please.
Good morning, members of the bar, or not good morning, good evening, I'm sorry. I just would like to take this time now to review how grade point average is calculated. And I am in no means meaning to offend anyone here. I know you are all very smart people, but I myself am not a math person. So it took me a little while to understand exactly what the language of the progression plan, specifically on page 52 of the progression plan, actually said and did. In the most simplest stated way, GPA is the total quality points earned divided by the credits earned. So if a student takes 10 one-credit unweighted classes, they would earn 4 quality points for an A. Straight A's in all 10 classes would equal 40 quality points, and obviously 40 divided by 10 would then give you a 4.0 GPA. Same student would take honors classes, they would earn 4.5 quality points for each A, so 45 quality points divided by 10, you get a GPA of 4.5. Now, weighting is different from credits. Weighting is the quality points earned per letter grade. It is undisputed that Seminole County weighs dual enrollment courses the same as advanced placement courses. Both an A letter grade equals 5 quality points for dual enrollment as it does advanced placement. However, what we're saying here is that under the current student progression plan, all dual enrollment courses are discounted to a half a credit, regardless of what the Florida Department of Education High School Credit Equivalency Committee has established and has published them as for the 2022-2023 school year. Now, this does violate Florida Statute 1007.271 because it specifically discriminates against the dual enrollment courses, and it lowers the GPA of students who choose to take dual enrollment instead of advanced placement. Sorry, I'm getting, of course, very clear example of this can be found in the binder that I provided for you on page 3 of the discussion. We also included my daughter's transcripts, and you can see a comparison spreadsheet for your review. Thank you.
Order, please.
Marjorie Murray, followed by Stephen Cornea, followed by Catherine Ordray.
Good evening. I'm Marjorie Murray, Winter Springs. Two things. First, a big thank you to Ms. Almond and Dr. Calderon for your service to our community. Your commitment and your visionary and supportive leadership as members and often as chairs is unsurpassed. Your compassion for all of our students, and especially our youngest, go pre-K, and our most vulnerable students is always so obvious. Thank you both so very much. Second, to the board and the superintendent, I have heard many people talk about much needed salary increases. Your fund sources are federal, state, and local dollars. As you well know, the federal dollars are for specific purposes, often time limited, and are considered soft money. You and your team have always been as creative as possible to use them for bonuses. However, when looking for money for salary increases that are a permanent part for the salary structure, you have to use recurring dollars and not soft dollars, because when the soft money goes away, you can't sustain the salaries. So that leaves state and local dollars. You can look at the existing budget, but that only provides a marginal increase at best. The state brags about the increases it provides to the school districts, but this is so often earmarked for specific purposes and can't be used for salary increases. However, there is an area where the state has increased funding much, much faster than it has increased funding to school districts, and that is vouchers. In 2019-2020, the Florida Education Finance Program, FEFP funds, rerouted to private schools was 3% of the total 12.5 billion funds for kindergarten to 12th grade. And just 3 years later, in 22-23, it increased to 10% of the FEFP funds. Why are the funds from the state to private schools growing so much faster than the funds to our beloved public schools? This is something that you, the board, parents, teachers, paraprofessionals, and bus drivers should be very angry about. And we wonder why there is no money for salary increases.
Order, please. Order.
Good evening, Stephen Cornia, Maitland, Florida, Seminole County Public School teacher. First off, I'd like to thank Member Almond and Member Calderon for your years of service to the board. And by the way, anyone who had under 45 seconds in the tribute video that Member Calderon would start crying, you can pick up your money in your lobby afterwards. One of the things that we've heard in negotiations is that Seminole County Public Schools is proposing to give teachers their largest wage increase they've ever given. Over the past 18 years, the Economic Policy Institute has tracked trends in teacher pay. Since 1996, the average weekly wages of teachers, adjusted for inflation, has increased $29. That's not $29 per year. That's between 1996 and 2021. The average wage of a teacher has increased $29 a week. Since the same time, other college graduates have seen their wages increase $445 over that time. The overall wage gap penalty for a teacher has grown from 6.1% in 1996 to 23.5% in 2021. That's more than 16.5% more than the rest of job fields. 28 states have a wage penalty for teachers towards other college graduates of more than 20%. And yes, Florida is one of them. The current wage proposal by the district is very little to close that gap. I'm going to finish with a little quote or a little reading from Charles Dickens. The evening arrived, the boys took their places, the master in his cook's uniform stationed himself at the copper. His proper assistants ranged themselves behind him, the gruel was served out, and a long grace was said over the short commons. The gruel disappeared, the boys whispered to each other and winked at Oliver, while his near neighbors nudged him. Child as he was desperate with hunger and reckless with misery. He rose from the table and, advancing to the master, basin and spoon in hand, said, somewhat alarmed at his own temerity, "Please, sir, may I have some more? We're not asking for cake. We're not asking for a Michelin 5-star mirror. We'd be happy with a slightly bigger bowl of gruel. Thank you very much.
Order. Order, please.
Hi, I'm Katie Andre. I'm a middle school teacher here in Seminole County. It is no secret that teachers are in high demand right now. Teachers are leaving the profession in massive droves due to student behaviors, unmanageable expectation, community disrespect, and teacher pay. Over 160 teachers have left Seminole County since August. Teaching is a skilled profession that you have to learn, study, and practice on a continuous basis to keep students engaged. As we have learned over the past few years, not everybody can be a teacher. So I have to ask myself, why is Seminole County not doing everything it can to keep teachers in Seminole County? It is a question that is coming to everyone across the country. They're asking themselves, how can we get these more qualified teachers and keep them in the classroom? We do not look at a doctor and say, you're in it for the medicine, not the money. We don't look at a truck driver and say, you're in it for the drive, not the money. And we don't look at a plumber and say, you're in it for the flooding, not the money. So why do we look at teachers and say, you're in it for the kids, not the money? I can't help but think and wonder that if this wasn't a woman-dominated profession, that would be asked.
Order, please. Order.
Everyone here wants the same thing, the best education for our children. What that education may be is debatable, depending on where you stand, but it cannot happen without amazing teachers. Seminole County is the highest performing school district in the county. Why are we not the highest paid?
Order. Order. Allow the chairman to speak.
Ashley Pittman, followed by Jory Danner, followed by Nicholas Croman.
Good evening, Superintendent Beeman and school board members. Can you hear me? Okay, good. My name's Ashley Pittman. I'm a teacher at Redbug Elementary. Last time I was in front of you, I stated that I believe it's really important for people in leadership positions to know how their decisions affect the people that they run. Whether it's teacher morale or livelihood, this board has an obligation to the people it serves. SCPS is a major district in Florida with upwards of 67,000 students and 10,000 employees. The decisions made by this board affect nearly 80,000 people and more if you consider their families. This is a responsibility I certainly do not envy, but it is a responsibility that you have chosen, and the decisions you make have a rippling effect. Many people have stood at this podium to discuss teacher salary and benefits. It seems redundant to do it again. But my hope is that as we stand here together united, you will see that we are SCPS. We are the driving force that brings this district so much honor and achievement. Without us, SCPS would not be an A-rated district, ranked number 1 of all Central Florida districts, number 2 and 14 of the largest districts, and number 9 out of all Florida districts altogether. And you're losing us. We come to work every day to support your endeavors to keep SCPS the premier district in Florida, and now we need you to support us. Teachers are leaving the professions in record numbers. Beyond the stress of politics getting in the way of doing what we love, many of us simply can't afford it anymore. I've learned of grown adults who cannot afford to live on their own, single parents that work multiple jobs just to support their families. I'm fortunate to have a loving husband who is able to help support us, but even that's a struggle as our family gets established. Yes, there's a teacher shortage everywhere. Yes, there's a whole, it's a whole country feeling this effect. from the inflation. But Florida is a state that everyone is flocking to, and it ranks 48th in teacher salaries in the country. Yes, this is a state issue, but it takes one person to change the world. SCPS has the opportunity to take the first steps to a better future for teachers and students. I said it last time and I'll say it again. Let other districts worry about teacher shortages. Show the state that we have the best teachers, we're going to pay for the best, and we're going to keep the best. SCPS, be the leaders in education for Florida and the rest of the country needs. Thank you.
Order, please. Order.
Joey Danner. Okay. Nicholas Croman.
Oh, okay, sorry. First time. Hello, Seminole County School Board. I'm a first-year middle school social studies teacher here in Seminole County. I'm here today to talk about the impasse and explain why the union's COLA increase as well as the raise isn't just the right thing to do, but is a key part in Seminole County keeping its A rating. Just today, in my classroom, or not my classroom, but during lunch, 2 separate teachers were telling me about their outlook on teaching here in Seminole County. One said they felt teaching in Seminole County was, quote, a dead-end job. And another said that they felt like, quote, no one even cared about teachers. These were both before I talked to them about the SCA being an impasse with the district. As a first-year teacher, I have a bit more hope. I have hope that the district will come to an agreement with the union that will both preserve the budget that I pay into as a taxpayer here in Seminole County and that starts to pay teachers what we deserve. You, the school board, will decide what I tell those cynical teachers, not just tomorrow, but going forward. Whether or not they are partially right and the district doesn't give us the increase we deserve, or that the school board listened to the teachers here today and respects us enough to give us a true cost of living increase that allows us to not worry about our medical bills, that allows us to have only one job, that allows us to live a decent life with a house and children and in the cities that we teach. Instead of worrying about these things, we can focus on our classrooms, on our students, instead of having to pay these bills. Something I and many teachers currently cannot do. As a first-year teacher, I will say that this is a little bit of a cost of, raise for me. I lived alone in lived with my single mother in a molded, cockroach-infested apartment, and teaching here at Seminole County Public Schools has allowed me to have a marginal increase in my standard of living. However, I still live in that apartment because I'm still trying to scrape together enough to move out. I'm still having to decide that I can't spend 8.9 cents on cereal and instead have to get 3.6 cents per ounce oatmeal because I need to move out of that apartment. I know that I am thankful in this season of giving thanks that I am a young, healthy man with my entire life ahead of me, and it truly terrifies me for the fact that there are many people here who have children, who don't have people to support them, that really can't live on their own. Thank you so much for listening to me and for your time.
Order, please. Order.
Joseph D'Alessandro, Halima Fisher, and then Sharon Swalina.
Good evening. I will start by reiterating that I've been teaching for 13 years. I put my heart, my soul, sweat, and tears into being the best possible teacher I can be for my students and their families. I care about the quality of education for all students, but the simple fact is that we have a terrible shortage, as you all know, of experienced teachers and of substitutes. I teach at a Title I school with 27 new teachers this year, but we've already had a handful of those new teachers resign. We pull teachers from their planning periods to fill vacancies, which takes away time from grading, lesson planning, and communicating with parents and students. We simply can't hire candidates because we don't have any to choose from, great candidates. One of the 8 main goals of Seminole County's strategic plan for continuous improvement is that they will build a highly effective, performance-based organization by recruiting, acquiring, motivating, training, and rewarding a high-performance workforce. I'll remind you, I'm a highly effective teacher. I'm a curriculum leader with gifted endorsement, 12 years of experience. I have the same salary as a first-year teacher recruit, which hardly seems like the correct way to reward high performance, retain and motivate high-quality teachers, or recruit new ones. The goals go on to state that the board will increase the 1-year and 5-year retention rates by 10%. When it comes to this goal, it is clear we are failing miserably. As we are currently at an impasse in our contract negotiation with the school board, I would remind our community we need parents and community members to hold our school board members accountable, including our 2 new members. We need better pay, health care, and working conditions to recruit and retain great teachers. I mean, I spoke to one of my teacher roommates today, and he's already got 2 extra jobs delivering for, Uber Eats. He delivers for Walmart now. I mean, and he can't even pay for his insulin. And, these are just basic necessities that we take for granted, but we got to do better. We got to keep our best teachers. I'm afraid he'll walk out. We have too many leaving. So thank you for your time.
Order. Order.
Hi, I'm Helena Fisher. I've been teaching for 20 years in Seminole County. I once was one of the new teachers, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and excited to be here as a teacher because I felt that it was my calling. And I can't believe where we are today. I feel like veteran teachers are being crucified. The sad part is we have you guys walk through and we do all the accolades about the great work that we've done, and then to turn around.
Order, please.
After 20 years of commitment to this district, for you guys to walk around, these teachers are not eating. They're choosing between preventive care and whether or not they can pay their bills. They're choosing whether or not they can have food. Their children are on free and reduced lunch. And I feel like no one's listening. Teachers are some of the most beautiful people, and I'm finding that some of my colleagues are moving in with their parents at my age. That's absolutely ridiculous after 20 years of being committed to this district. So for us to have to endure this and then to get the feedback that we're getting, like, it's as if you don't care. But when we're walking around those classrooms and we're talking about, hey, this is Ms. Fisher's classroom. It's cybersecurity. They did great in the competition rounds. They are in the top 15% in the district. In the nation, out of 3,000 something teams. And then you turn around and tell me you're not worth getting that extra few $1,000s. Not only that, you need me to mentor our new teachers, but you're paying me a new teacher's salary. It's just not fair. At some point, we have to stand up and say, let's do the right thing. We should treat our employees well. We should treat our employees better, just like we think about the students. I want you to think about us. We have families. We have children. We have the same situations of these children that we're catering to. And we come in, you can't come in with a nasty heart with kids. You can't do that. You have to come in with a pure heart. You can't mistreat the kids like you could in any other industry and just walk out on them. I guarantee you, the majority of these teachers, they will give you 2 weeks notice because they need to transition those kids into a better position. It's not fair to us. Just like we do these accolades about how we treat the students and how we have such a great school district, by the way, because of 20-year teachers like me.
Order, please.
I do my job. And I'm asking you that you please reconsider when you're talking about salaries for teachers. Just do the right thing. Thank you.
Order.
Hello again. Sharon Splina from Lake Mary High School. It's sad that once again I must come and beg to Seminole County School Board members for a decent pay raise. It is even more disheartening to do so knowing that Seminole County's bargaining team came to the initial bargaining session offering $0. It is a grossly disrespectful gesture that heralds and promotes the insidious idea that teachers in Seminole County are worthless. This is evident in the final offer that the Seminole County Public Schools bargaining team is currently proposing. This offer gives a veteran teacher with 30 years of faithful and diligent service a whopping 20 cents per hour pay raise. This is deplorable and highlights the disregard Seminole County Public Schools has for its professional teachers, not its transient teachers, but its professional teachers who have proven themselves repeatedly throughout the years to be loyal and dependable. Regrettably for professional teachers, people working in entry-level jobs get an annual raise far exceeding Seminole County's offer to its professional veteran teachers. Please know, I do understand that as the school board members, you have a fiduciary responsibility to the citizenship of Seminole County. And you've been good custodians to the citizenship. But what gets ignored is the fact that this monetary feat has been accomplished by placing a great financial burden on the backs of the teachers of Seminole County. Unfortunately, Seminole County Public Schools has watched its savings increase tremendously to be more than $72 million, almost 4 times Florida's statutory requirement, while the teachers of Seminole County have watched their savings decrease tremendously, causing debt for most and financial ruin for some. Apparently, this is an acceptable situation and unwittingly encouraged earlier tonight with the poem shared by Abby Sanchez, which read, 100 years from now, it will not matter what my bank account was, the sort of house I lived in, or the kind of car I drove. But the world may be different because I was important in the life of a child. Trust me, this idealistic propaganda trumpets the idea that teachers are worthless. Again, I ask that you trust me. It matters greatly that I have safe and proper shelter. It matters greatly that I have safe and reliable transportation. And it matters greatly that I have savings in the bank. COVID, Hurricane Ian, and Tropical Storm Nicole have proven this clearly.
Ms. Swalina, will you please wrap it up?
Moreover, it does not matter only to me, but more importantly, it matters to my child, to whom I am the most important person in the world, and who will go out and make the world different for the better. Therefore, I encourage you to go back to the county's coffers and bring financial relief to the teachers of Seminole County. It matters. It matters greatly. Thank you.
Order, please.
Tiffany Jarmalowski, followed by Judy Ying, followed by Jen Trudale.
Hi, Tiffany Jarmalowski with Eastbrook Elementary School. I am currently in my 11th year teaching. I have served as a team leader as my school's Connected Learning mentor. I've hosted several PD sessions for my colleagues. I'm a supervising teacher for college interns, and I've graduated from the instructional coaching program that Seminole County Public Schools offer. I have gone above and beyond for years, all while maintaining my highly effective rating. And for what? To be given a raise just to make the same amount of money as a brand new teacher fresh out of college with 0 experience. That, Seminole County School Board members, is a slap in the face. A decade of hard work, all for nothing. I wish I could say that the lack of pay, lack of support, lack of respect, lack of leadership, lack of decent and affordable health care coverage was the worst of it, but it's not. I'd be a fool not to mention the subpar working conditions, not having functioning AC, proper ventilation in classrooms that are riddled with roaches, drain flies, and that haven't been cleaned properly in years. The worst thing really is the people we work with that aren't working in classrooms. I'm talking about you, board members. I'm talking about administrators and instructional coaches. I'm talking about all the people who have never taught in a pandemic classroom, or even worse, a post-pandemic classroom. These seem to be the only people making decisions for those of us who are currently driving the struggle bus. They are deciding what and how we teach. They are deciding what is and isn't appropriate for our students. They are deciding our worth. You are deciding our worth blindly. Why is there not some form of checks and balances within our school system? Wouldn't you think that administrators and coaches who know that they're going to be evaluated by the teachers they serve would be willing to work a lot harder, offer the support that is needed, provide the growth opportunities that are craved, create class loads that are fair and evenly distributed instead of oversaturating the strong teachers and using blatant favoritism for others, then letting that evaluation decide how good of a leader they are? How about administrators doing that for the school board? How about letting us decide what kind of raise you get based on your performance? I guarantee we wouldn't be where we are today if that were the case. You don't get to brag about being an A-rated school district like treating us like yesterday's trash. Do better.
Order. Order.
Good evening, Superintendent Beeman, board members, and thank you, Dr. Calderon and Mrs. Allman, for your service. My name is Judy Ying. I teach at Lake Howell High School, and I serve as Vice President of the Seminole Education Association. I am also a member of the SCA Bargaining Committee, so I will not address salary concerns. But I'm also on the Insurance Committee. We on the committee have worked very hard this year to make big changes for our employees. Our goal is to reduce out-of-pocket costs, save the district money, and have high-quality health care. This year, we have worked with the district to send out requests for proposals from other health care providers. We are educating our committee members with many presentations so that we can make good decisions. In addition, we are getting a full audit for the first time since being self-insured. This will allow the district to recoup dollars erroneously billed. For these big changes to occur, reduce out-of-pocket expenses, save the district more money, and not sacrifice quality care, we need the board to understand what is going on. Unfortunately, our assigned board member has not been in attendance. This is due not to the board member, but there is a reason that the reason says that because we're still in bargaining, the board member cannot be in the room. This doesn't make any sense. How will the board make an informed decision without the necessary knowledge only gained by being in attendance? Not only being in attendance, but asking the necessary questions. The board member is a non-voting member, and I do not see how there is any conflict of interest or violation of the Sunshine Law. I would like the decision to be reconsidered and return a board member to the Insurance Committee. We must reform our insurance, or more employees will be leaving. I have asked the board repeatedly, what is your plan to recruit and retain our educators? A very important part of that plan must be reforming our insurance. And we need the school board to be 100% informed to make that important decision of what insurance plan we will have in 2024. Thank you.
Order, please. Order.
Hi everyone, my name is Jennifer Truesdale, and I'm a speech-language pathologist working in Seminole County for 23 years. The last time I was here speaking to you, I was speaking on behalf of my SLP colleagues. I'm here tonight to speak for my teachers. The following letter was given to me to read aloud to the board. It was written by a wonderful teacher who recently resigned from my school. Dear board members, as I embark on my final days of teaching, I spent a lot of time reflecting. Despite many teachers warning me not to, I went into teaching because I love the work. I love working with children. I went in with my heart, but began to realize that it's not all it's cooked up to be. Teachers are not treated like professionals, yet expected to hold multiple certifications and degrees. The support of public education has been on a sharp decline for years. It's a constant battle trying to prove ourselves so that we can get what's needed for our classrooms and earn the salary we deserve. Class sizes and workload have increased while pay, benefits, and teacher support have decreased. Students and teachers are not getting what they need for the mental and physical challenges they are facing. The people making rules for education are vastly out of touch with reality. The past 2 years of the pandemic were devastating, but this time offered the education field an opportunity to change and to reevaluate things such as state assessments, excessive district assessments, teacher workload, and flexibility. changes that could help recruit and retain teachers. Sadly, this didn't occur. While this was a very difficult decision, I am at peace with my choice to resign. I realized that teaching in a classroom didn't make me happy anymore. I chose to leave the field where I gave so much of myself to others, but didn't give myself what I needed. I have spent the last 5 years fighting for my students and their education, but it's time to put my mental health first and do what is best for my family. Thank you for listening to all of us tonight.
Order, please.
Nina Sandberg, followed by Jessica Tillman, followed by Raquel Molina.
I'm Nina Sandberg. I am begging the board to restore the rights of the employees, parents, and students to fully participate in public comment by restoring the non-agenda public comment time to 3 minutes. It never should have been reduced to 2 minutes in the first place. Please right this wrong for the citizens. My son spent an entire year in an Evans Elementary concretable. I am wondering why you did not put temporary portables on that school's property over the summer to get that school through the year during renovations and repairs. I'm wondering why you did not set up double sessions with another school. I am wondering why you did not figure out creative solutions to deal with the crisis over the summer. This entire situation is unacceptable. The school district is hemorrhaging teachers, speech therapists, and even guidance counselors. SCPS is not paying its school-based employees enough money. SCPS has too many very highly paid bureaucrats at 400 East Lake Mary Boulevard. And as I have told you before, you need to spend the money at the physical schools themselves and stop wasting the money at 400 East Lake Mary Boulevard. Stop wasting money on garbage like Brain Pop, too. Prioritize how you spend the money. For several years now, SCPS has been subjecting its employees to unacceptably bad working conditions and unacceptably impossible working conditions. With regards to lower-level employees, many bus drivers cannot afford to own their own cars. SCPS took 20 years to give substitute teachers a raise. The pay and working conditions for custodians is atrocious. You need to take care of your school-based employees and stop living in a la-la fantasy land in the district headquarters.
Order.
Good evening. My name is Jessica Tillman. At last month's workshop, the chair brought up 8 books she would like pulled for review. The superintendent denied this request without a formal request from a parent or community member, citing policy 2520. At least 3 board members voiced concern over these books. As a board, it is your job to give direction to the superintendent. She answers to you, not the other way around. She is more concerned with policy and procedure than she is about providing pornography for children. After witnessing her refuse to take direction, I was quite concerned, and I wrote the Commissioner of Education for direction. I received a response this morning stating the board has local control and is within their power to take action against the superintendent. Under the doctrine of local control, school districts have autonomy in almost all aspects of school operation, including employment and discipline of district staff, quote. Now we have a superintendent who refuses first aid to minors, does not allow opt-out for medical or mental health videos that are not graded nor made up. We really need a superintendent who refuses to listen to her bosses. We need a superintendent that will bend over backwards to get staff an increase in pay when she receives a 3% increase with a barely acceptable evaluation. These books are serious and are being discussed with the Florida Department of Education. And the presentation Moms for Liberty put together was unable to be emailed to the Board of Education because the pornography filter kept pushing it back. And they had content warnings before going through the details. These books are not Dr. Seuss books and classics. If these books are not appropriate for the Florida Department of Education employees, maybe they are not appropriate for our children. Have the courage to make the motion.
Order, please.
Raquel Molina. followed by Priscilla DeArmas, followed by Mary Russell.
Good evening. My name is Raquel Molina. I've been in Seminole County for over 20 years. And everything they have said, I can agree with them too. I've seen the change. In the last 5 to 6 years, Seminole County is no longer the Seminole County when I first moved into this district. Back then, it was A-rated. Now, I'm not even gonna say because it has changed so much. And I blame it on leadership, bad management. And it's sad. And the school board members, the ones that are coming new, I sure hope you guys are doing it from the heart and not following the money. And consider the children's best interests first and then the money. Because what I see here in the board, it's unbelievable. It's disgusting what I'm seeing. You guys are focusing on LGBTQ instead of focusing on supporting your teachers, supporting the SLPs, supporting the special needs. Thank God, special needs, finally I see maybe a little bit of improvement. Thank God, and I hope it continues to improve. But what I'm seeing here is gross. You guys are only, well, not you guys, because I know, what I've seen with my eyes is focusing on LGBT. We're all equal, all of us. You guys are just pushing this one agenda. What is wrong with you guys? Focus on the teachers, on the students. Look at everyone over here complaining. That's more than enough. Thank you.
Order, please.
Good evening. My name is Priscilla DeArmas. I'm a teacher at Redbug Elementary. It's my first time speaking here, but I really felt the need to. In this room, you are looking at teachers that are strong and resilient. Over the years, we have been faced with many challenges, and each one of those challenges we've taken and succeeded. You have some amazing teachers. Each brings something amazing and unique to their classrooms. They deserve a living wage. I've been a teacher for 4 years now, and often I have wondered, will I be able to afford continuing in my career? I love what I do, but this is a question that runs through all of our minds. As each day as I teach, I pour out my love and grace to all of my students because I love seeing them grow. But unfortunately, higher cost of living, inflation, and saving up to hopefully become a homeowner keep lingering in my mind. No matter what the decision is, I will continue to do my job with excellence and only giving my best until I can't anymore, because my students deserve it. But your teachers deserve a living wage too. Thank you.
Order, please. Order.
Hi, my name is Mary. I am from Sanford, and I am a product of SCPS, Castleberry Elementary, South Seminole Middle School, and Lyman High School. I married my husband right after high school, who is also an SCPS graduate, Goldsboro Elementary, Lakeview Middle, and Seminole High School. And we are now, many years later, the very proud parents of 3 SCPS children. It is a privilege and an honor that I have to be a basically full-time substitute teacher in SCPS. And I always knew and believed and seen and experienced the A-rated district of SCPS. And in my this is my 2nd year of full-time substituting, I'm surprised that the way that we don't support our teachers, and I don't mean, yes, you're heroes. Would you like a raise? Would you like to have to be able to plan your lessons and know, oh, I can print this thing that I have to print for my class.
Order, please.
Oh, I can't, I know you're subs here, I can't print this out for you because we don't have the copies, but if I email it to you, actually, let me text it to you because we don't have any more copies. This color thing that we're teaching in kindergarten, it's in black and white.
Order.
You see classes split and split and split. You see teachers calling for help with behavior issues and maybe somebody coming.
Order, please.
You'd see buildings in such a state of surprise repair. You'd see not enough laptops or computers per kids. The ones that do work don't have all the keys, maybe won't keep a charge, maybe the mouse pad doesn't work. You see moldy classrooms because when there's water damage, you can't just run a fan. That's not how it works. I'll wrap up with this. Sorry, shaky. If this building was falling apart, if this staff couldn't make their own copies or print in color, if your children were on free and reduced lunch unless you got another job, if your computers were missing pieces or you had to wait your turn for somebody else to be done so that you could submit your thing to be due, what would it look like? Give our teachers and staff the time and the resources to do what you actually expect them to do. The breakfasts and lunches and celebration can wait. I cannot believe that I've heard these Evans people come in here and say, that should be oh my God, immediately. Here's the new thing to keep you safe while this is happening. Our children, our students, our teachers are not safe in their classrooms and in their jobs. You wouldn't accept these working conditions for yourself. Do not accept it for the people making this A-rated district the success that it is. As a full-time substitute who was so inspired and empowered by what I saw, the professional of these teachers, and going back to school for education every day, I hope that I can teach in SCPS. I want to. I believe in SCPS. Do better.
Order, please.
So that concludes our public comment section. Superintendent, if would you like to let us know who the contractor is for the second assessment?
And I want to, Mr. Wolski, can you clarify? I believe it's Universal.
Yes, ma'am, that's correct. Universal Engineering.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that we were very transparent. Dr. Calderon has asked for final words, so I'd like to give her that opportunity.
Well, I just wanted to piggyback on what Mrs. Almond said, as I usually say whenever I speak to a group of educators or anybody in our SCPS family. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to allow me to serve. And I'm always here in the community if I can ever help in any other way, because education is the most valuable asset we have in this country. And I'm very proud of our entire team. And it's been my true honor. So thank you for giving me that opportunity, and also thank you to all the people that arranged such a special evening for the both of us tonight. It meant the world to us. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I have a couple of questions for Mr. Wolski.
Okay.
Will work take place next week? And will there be an update next week if that work is taking place?
I apologize, Ms. Allman, I didn't hear your question.
Will there be work taking place next week? And if
yes,
there
ma'am.
is, will there be an update?
There should be an update on Sunday, this weekend going out on Sunday, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then lastly, will teachers be responsible to set up their classroom by themselves?
When things that they moved out, we had staff helping them move things out, so we'll have staff getting things situated as well.
Thank you.
Can I ask if there's a delay or an update, an important update? Can we not wait till the weekly update? Can we go ahead and push that out to the parents and the teachers so that they know if there's a delay or if there's something that's going to change or impact the...
Yes, if there's information that we know that will delay the the plan that we've set forth, then yes, we will push that out. That is what we said at the workshop, and it is what we will commit to doing.
Okay, thank you.
If the schools end up, let's say they are finished and completed by a certain time, will they be able to open up on the weekend if they have to in order to do rearranging in their classrooms, if that's necessary?
I don't believe that the schools will be open on weekends.
Okay. I mean, I know that we have in the past opened up, schools have opened up in the weekend for teachers to prepare and get their things ready, so.
Order, please. No outbursts. Allow the board members to
Talking
speak.
about when, if, like, after everything is fixed and finished with the concretables, if they're ready to be moved in, is what I'm talking about. If they have to, how are they gonna be able to do that during school hours, or when will they be able to do that? Or would it have to be something that they would have to?
I will just say, Member Sanchez, that there is not a plan
Okay.
for weekend work for the administrators or for the teachers.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, go.
Just real quickly, thank you all for coming out and using your time, more hours spent. We do appreciate and hearing from you. Thank you.
Okay, this concludes this board meeting. We wish you both well.